Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the Ted Show. I'm super excited to be completely outshone or outshined by this man and his Christmas decor in the background. We have Joe Van Bemmel with 360 Virtual Orlando on the show. We're going to talk about how to bring your business to life, talk about video, drones, a whole bunch of great stuff. This is exciting because all of us need to get into 2020 plus and get some video going and get some really good virtual stuff going. And Joe's going to kind of talk about that and give us the 411. Welcome, Joe. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm really excited about this topic. You know, I love anything that's video. I think people, as you know, statistically, people respond better when they have something really to look at instead of read all the time. But before we get into that, people love to know origin story. They want to know about you. So give us a little history on Joe.
A little history on Joe. So I'm married to a beautiful woman. I have a beautiful son named Duke. They're both my pride and joy. My son is 4 years old, 4.5, going on 14. And I've been married for 7 years. I got married in the Virgin Islands. That's where I asked my wife to marry me.
Nice.
And I started my business right before COVID started. Before that, I've been in hospitality the last 20 years of my life. So I've always worked with people, but not in the same aspect as what I do now.
How did you shift from hospitality? Like, what was the impetus behind that?
Well, I always had an interest in video and photography, but never made the push to do it until COVID started. And when COVID started, I figured that would be the time to really capture and make this business shine, because there's never been an opportunity for it like there is today.
Agreed. I think more and more people are trying to embrace it, but as we both know, a lot of people are afraid of anything that's video. They also have interesting concepts about how awfully expensive it is, and there's just so much misinformation out there. That I think we were talking earlier about caregivers. Well, it's the same thing on anybody who's in video. It's difficult sometimes to find somebody who actually has the experience and the know-how and to get done what you need to get done.
Yeah, well, there's a right budget and a right scenario for every single project that I do. Some are very big and very expensive to work on, but they're a lot of time. And time is money. But there are some projects that can be done for just a couple $100 that you can see your return on investment very, very quickly, especially in the real estate market.
Let's talk about that, because talk about 360 Virtual Orlando.
Okay.
You could have gone any direction when you're talking about video and doing what you want to do and get into that whole arena. Why this? Why did you choose 360 Virtual Orlando?
So originally, when I started my business, I started it on the aspect of building virtual tours for people. As I got into doing virtual tours for people, I realized that the door was wide open to not only do virtual tours for you to share a screen on Zoom and show your facility, but it was there to make a video so you could send them a video of what your facility might look like, even if you didn't have the time to walk them through a virtual tour yourself. So I try and capture all aspects of what you can do digitally to capture any business or real estate listing, whether it be by photo or video.
It's so powerful now, especially since your timing is perfect, because everybody really got used to Zoom and got used to communicating that way. And of course, open houses, we'll use real estate as an example, ceased to exist. You couldn't go into a house. And so a lot of people are still in that, staying safe, staying compliant, but they do want to see a real tour of the house, not just some stagnant photos all the time.
Absolutely. You know, the statistics are there that favor virtual tours. Your return on investment can be as little as a few weeks as in a business. And to spend a few $100s and be able to show someone your property like they were there in real time is very well worth the money, especially in today's atmosphere. I wouldn't want to do an open house in my house and have strangers in it unless they were seriously interested in buying the home. And you can cross that part off with having a realtor have a virtual tour for you.
The virtual tour really takes, to me, it gives the realtor, and it could be any business, and I want to talk a little bit about that too, but it gives the realtor this ability to still do the things that he or she needs to do in order to be the advocate for their borrower, their client, buyer or seller, seller in this case, and yet they don't have to physically take the time out to, like you said, I wouldn't want anybody in my house I didn't know right now.
Yeah.
It's weird enough during regular pre-COVID days. It's even stranger now with COVID. So what's the process like? If somebody says, all right, well, we'll use real estate. Somebody says, I want to work with you. I'd like to build a virtual tour. How does that work?
Well, I'd simply ask them, how big of a property was it? If it's the typical, home and it's under 2,500 square feet, I would just schedule a time to do the photos. I can take the photos for a regular house and typically under an hour. And then I build the virtual tour in about 24 hours to 48 hours on my own time. And then I upload it, and they can embed it in their website, or if they would like to put it on the MLS as a realtor, they can embed it in the MLS. That way, everyone who's looking at the property is able to view it.
Did you know you had an eye for this? Because it's one thing to have all the equipment. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to have the desire. It's another thing to have the talent to make it look good.
Well, you can teach yourself anything you want to, and especially nowadays, that's never been easier to do. I spend hours and hours educating myself on video editing software and photo editing. And when you're taking regular real estate photos for HDR, so you are showing the nicest possible images, it's very different than taking a 360 photo. So there are different processes that I've had to learn throughout this, but the tools are there for you to be able to access them. It's only you being able to learn how to do it.
True. What about the drone? Drone is a whole new world, right?
Yeah. So the drone, you have to have a license to operate commercially. So anyone who has to do that has to take a test with the FAA and pass it. And then after that, you learn airspace, you learn how to safely operate an aircraft, because that's what it is. And, you use it to showcase places like you've never been able to before. Whether you're indoors or outdoors, drones can be used in all different aspects of business, promotional videos, or real estate.
I always love the aerial shots. I think that those, you just can't, there's no way to capture that otherwise. I mean, I guess back in the day, you rented a helicopter or a plane and you took pictures.
People still do that. Yeah.
This makes it so much easier. But I think people think you can just buy a drone and all of a sudden you know what you're doing. And it takes a lot of technique, and which I don't possess, a lot of technique and understanding of movement and being able to align things. Yeah. I think, though, that makes one of the most dramatic impacts on any kind of virtual tour or video.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Because nowadays, with my capabilities that I've been able to learn, say you're showing a house that might not be the nicest house to show, but you have a beautiful piece of property. I can take 16 photos from the same spot in the sky of every place around you, put them together so somebody can actually see what it's like to be above your property in a 360-degree angle. So if you're on a lake and you want to showcase that you're on a lake, but your house isn't gorgeous, we could still get you millions of dollars for the property.
Love it. So tell us about the business side of it. I was alluding to that earlier. It's not just real estate.
No. I try to incorporate it into real estate because real estate obviously is used in an everyday atmosphere. But as far as being a regular business, there are people in hospitals that have to showcase their facility on a daily basis. And they have marketing teams. They pay people to do marketing for them. And you're not able to go out and market like you once were pre-COVID. You can't just walk into a business and drop off your information and introduce yourself. People aren't as open to that right now. But if you can set up a Zoom call with somebody and virtually walk them through your facility, then you're accomplishing what you really need to accomplish. You're capturing their attention and you're showcasing the best of your facility. And that's really what I try and do on a daily basis, whether it's with real estate or whether it's with a business.
And once you have the quality of the video that you create, people have to understand it doesn't have to be a one shot. I mean, if you're talking about a property, the property itself might be a one shot, but you can use that as part of your social media platforms as something you did, so people can see an example of how you help this person sell a house, so that they know what they're getting into and what kind of added value you bring to your clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The video aspect is endless, especially nowadays with all the different social media platforms, with IGTV and YouTube. Whether you're advertising for a radio show or a restaurant, you could make a 1-minute promotional video on anything nowadays and advertise through Facebook, which is an affordable way to advertise and still reach thousands and thousands of people.
People underestimate how much their potential consumer watches them and watches what they do and pay attention. So if I'm looking at a business and one has a heavy video presence that I can look at on my own and really get a good, solid feel for what's going on, and someone who doesn't, people are going to choose the video a lot. They're going to choose that the majority of the time, I think. Yeah. Because that shows that you are bringing a whole bunch more. You're not just doing the basics and the traditional, you're adding to it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So tell me what somebody does if they're interested and they want to reach out to you and they're excited about 360 Virtual Orlando. Are there any particular types of clients you don't take, or is it just an easy process for them to reach out to you?
I take any client. I've had people reach out to me to make them a promo video on their dog, believe it or not, dog breeder. And they want to incorporate a cool Instagram video for their dog. So whether it's something like that, or you want to showcase a facility like a hospital, you can call me or email me. My phone number is listed on my website, 360virtualorlando.com. I take every different scenario into account, everybody's different budgets, and there's a right way to do things. And I don't take a penny from anybody until they're happy with what I do. I put that on the bottom of my invoice. I definitely make sure that anybody that works with me is happy in the fullest extent.
So tell me something. I always like to ask one little personal question. You obviously started during COVID. You launched this. What was that initial part like for you as you're trying to establish a new business when we're all kind of pivoting and trying to figure out what the new normal was or is?
Well, it's been a little intimidating, needless to say. Anytime you start a new venture, you always want it to go well. But the people that surround me are constantly supporting me. And I think that makes me be a better person and strive to do better at my craft every single day. And every single project I do, I want it to be even better than the next one that I do. Whether the budget is $200 or $2,000, I'm going to do my absolute best on it.
I have no doubt. All right. So, guys, if you're in real estate, small business, startup, large business, it doesn't matter what it is. Gosh, we just talked about puppies, dogs. Reach out to Joe. It's so important to get yourself acclimated to the whole world of video because, my friends, that is the future. We're in it right now. And if you are not embracing it, you are missing out on a large group of potential customers for yourself by not doing it. All right, Joe, you're a joy, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
Joe
you.
Van Bemmel, go to 360virtualorlando.com. Reach out to him. Reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with him. Thank you so much, my friend. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.